Okay, we're going to learn how to play a Lappie, which is going to sound something like this. It's going to sound like it once you got it going, but let's first of all go over the chords and make sure that you know all the chord shapes. Your first chord you need to learn is G. Now, I've numbered the fingers 1, 2, 3, 4 to make it easier. You don't have to write on your fingers, but if you want to, maybe it helps a little bit. We're going to start with easy G. Now, easy G means finger number 3, that's waving at you, goes to the bottom string in the 3rd fret. Now, just quickly to explain what are the frets. This first thing over here that I'm pointing at, that's called the nut. It's the big thick thing at the top of your guitar. Sometimes it's a black one, sometimes it's a white one. This one's like a faded grey, but that is called the nut. This space here, where presently no fingers are up until this line, is called fret number 1. This means this is fret number 2, and this means this must be fret number 3. Okay, one more time. Fret 1, fret 2, fret 3. Now, if you're playing easy G, we're only going to strum the bottom 4 strings. Let's have a look at that and see what to do and what it sounds like. Very important, always count from the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the thick string is number 6. It's a big number, big string. 1 is a small number, small string. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to strum from the 4th string down. So you take your pick or your finger, don't really mind. You can do finger or a pick. I'd try and encourage you to use a pick personally, so that'll be first place. And one more time, that's what G should sound like. If your G doesn't sound like this, first check that your guitar is in tune. If you've got hassles tuning it, or if your guitar is in tune, let me know. And if your guitar is in tune and the chord doesn't sound like this, send me a photograph of your hand like this. Pretend it's a photograph, and you click, send it through, and I can see what went wrong. Maybe you're over here by accident, or maybe over here or over here, or something like that. The wrong string will sound really bad. You can hear that. Okay. Now the next chord is going to be D. D starts with finger number 1 on string number 1, 2, 3. So you can see there, finger 1 is on the 3rd string. Middle finger goes right to the bottom, also in the 2nd fret. Remember what we were saying about the frets? Fret number 1, and you can see fingers 1 and 2 are both in the 2nd fret. Very important that, okay? Must know the fret numbers. I think we got a bit confused with that the last time perhaps. And then the ring finger number 3 must go onto the 2nd string. You can see it up close there, so I want to get a different angle so you can see a bit better. You can see the chord, get a bit of an overview around the whole way. And for the D chord, we also strum 4 strings. It should sound like that. Now, once you've got that, we're going to start the strumming pattern. Now, the strumming pattern is on the PDF file that I sent through for you as well. It's at the bottom underneath the chord shapes. And you got there 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. It's not a maths sum, promise. Okay. The pluses are actually regarded as ands. So you're counting this like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now, if there's a down arrow means you strum down. If there's an up arrow, you strum up. So the arrow tells you where or how to strum. It's giving you the indicating the direction of how to strum. Down arrow, up arrow. Now, if there's an arrow under a number, like the 1, the 2, the 3, or the 4, if there's an arrow under the numbers, it will always be a down arrow. If there's an arrow under the and, or the pluses, if there's an arrow under the and, it's always going to be an up strum. So you'd have something like this if there were arrows going on all the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, for example. But this strumming pattern starts with a count of 1. On the and 2, nothing happens. but on the and between 2 and 3, there's an up arrow there. If you look at the page again, look carefully. As it says 1, there's a down arrow. Then it says and 2, nothing happens. And then the following and is an up strum. So one more time through, 1 and 2 and. After that, the third beat, the 3, no arrow, no strum. And that's followed by an immediate up strum on the and a down strum on the 4. But that last and 4, because they're close together, it means they're quick. So you can actually gauge the timing as well, like the 1 to the and between 2 and 3. There's quite a big distance. From the next 2 up strums, they're slightly closer, and the last up down, very close together. That's also giving you a hint on the timing. So if I were to count that out loud and play that strumming pattern, it would be something like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We got that. You can also think of it like this. Down, up, down. If you want to try and say that with me. 2, 3, 4, down, up, down. And if you do it twice in a row, maybe say it out loud with me. 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, down, up, down. That's just to help you with the rhythm if you get a little bit stuck. Now, I'm going to count again and I'm going to strum while I'm calling out the arrow direction. And I'd like you to try and play it through with me while I'm playing the G chord. In other words, while you're playing the G chord too. Are you ready for this? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and down, up, down, down, up, down. Or if you were counting it, it would be something like this. Same rhythm. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now, on how many times to play each chord, the count of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 we regard as one measure. In other words, it's a complete counting little block, if you want to call it that. We need to do it through once. So while you're playing G, I'm going to zoom out a bit. While I'm playing G, you're going to go through once. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Then you change to the D that I showed you. Okay, now obviously the fingers are going to take a bit of time at first. They will get faster as you get better. So you just want to practice changing D to G to D to G just to help get your fingers used to the change. We call that muscle memory. Okay, now D we're going to play through twice. It's going to go like this. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, we got that. And then what's nice about Lappie, it actually starts with the chorus. So if you were to play the first 2 lines through, you're going to have 1 bar of G, 2 bars of D, 1 bar of G again. That's the first 2 lines. Okay, I'm not going to go to the third line yet. I first want you to practice this part. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's your immediate target. Once you've got that, you learn the chord C. C starts with finger 1 on the 2nd string and try and keep it near the front bar. When I say the front bar, I mean this little metal thing here. Okay, because if you're putting it here, you're pushing against the tension of the string against the nut. This is difficult to explain from a science point of view, but it's actually more difficult to push here than it is to push there. Okay. Middle finger goes to fret number 2, 4th string, and ring finger to fret number 3, 5th string. So it's a little bit of a stretch, this one, but you can see the fingers there. Make sure yours is the same. And for the C chord, you're strumming 5 strings. So if I bring in my strumming hand again, I'm strumming from string number 5. So the poor top string over here, he's being a bit left out of the picture. We're not playing this string at all. And if you do by accident, please don't stop. Just think, oops, made a mistake, let it go, no one minds. Okay, so your C is going to sound like this. Okay, does yours sound like that? And then of course we go to the 3rd line, which is going to be G again. First of all, I'm going to zoom out a bit there so you can see that it changes a bit. And G is now going to be 3rd line where you're singing Haboki wat vanaand by Mabel Le. It's going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and C and 2 and 3 and 4. And then the last part goes G again, back to D and G. Let's take it through slowly the whole way through. Now, I don't expect you to get it perfect the first time, but as long as you know what to practice, that's the important part. And it's not about speed. So even if you do it super slow like this, I'm dead happy. Let's try and take it now from the beginning. 1 G, 2 G's, D's, okay, 2 D's, back to G, finish the second line. Another G, so effectively 2 G's on the third line. C twice, and then G, D, G, G. Okay, but you'll see it now when I play it through. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and C and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. You got that. Okay, now that last G and D changes a little bit quicker, but I'll explain it to you later. Let's first get the basic rhythms going. What I really appreciate as well is send me a video of you playing it so I can see what you're doing. And if you've got any questions while you're learning it, let me know. And once you got it fast, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see that last G and D in the fourth line, it's got a little bit of a twist, but we'll cover that once you've got the basics. Any questions? Drop me a WhatsApp. Otherwise, have an awesome day. Looking forward to hearing from you. Take care.